in this election process was when young black men would call in to explain why it was that they had turned on the Democratic Party. And I find their perspective incredibly important and very interesting. And I feel that they were just kind of left behind by the Democratic Party. And, you know, one of the things that would come up over and over again was the immigration issue. And I'm not under the impression at all that these are anti-immigrant individuals, but people living in places like Chicago, for instance, who have seen their resources, which are usually...
So in this clip, Charlamagne the God is basically going to drag the left, Sunny Hostin in particular. Him and Anna are able to do this. By the way, guys, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. I am coming to you guys faceless today. I'm not, you know, I'm away for a little bit, but I'll be back soon, back with my beautiful face. Thank you to every eye that lands on this video. Anyway, okay, coming back to it. They're calling out the issues with the left, and to be honest, Sunny is a problem. Joy Reid, all of these people, we already know, these are problems for the left. Because leftist policies, as far as like a lot of their foreign policies at least, and maybe even some of their social policies, as far as like medical stuff, I would actually agree with them on it. But they went so hard on that identity and all of that, the racial stuff, that I was like, oh, I will never vote for a Democrat. And I'm not sure that that's true today, but I know that in that era of all that woke, yeah, I was like, oh no, I would never vote for a single one of them.
Used to nickel and dime the local black community there, essentially be used for the influx of migrants who came in. Federal government run by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris just kind of neglected the issue and allowed these municipalities to struggle with the issue on their own. And the thing that frustrates me, Charlamagne, is that if you are someone who identifies as on the left, regardless of where you fall on that left-wing spectrum, if you have the audacity to bring up this very real issue, well, I mean, you know how Sunny Hostin will treat you if you bring it up on The View, right? And I think that's an issue. I think it's a problem. The Democrats seem to not ever want to do a little bit of self-reflection to understand, okay, what can we do better the next time around? Instead, I see them kind of lashing out and blaming everyone else for the loss. What do you think?
I agree. I was a victim of it. I mean, they lost that battle a couple of years ago. I remember a couple of years ago when Governor Greg Abbott and Governor Ron DeSantis were putting, you know, the migrants on buses and planes and sending them to so-called sanctuary cities. And then, you know, as soon as they got there, those so-called sanctuary cities, they weren't so sanctimonious, were they? They were literally saying, hey, no, send them back. You can't come. And I said back then, I thought that was evil genius. Yes, it was inhumane and cruel to do that, but on the flip side, you did say you were sanctuary.
I'm really not understanding why that's evil and cruel. Evil and cruel would be to put a handkerchief on a stick and put it on their back and say, hey, here's your stuff, and walk to the sanctuary cities. That's inhumane and cruel. If you say you're a sanctuary city, well, it's high time you take this influx. You know, this influx that your party fights for. Yeah, that's what it is. Now, he was a victim, again, of having his own mindset. We remember on The View exactly how Sunny treated him.
It shows. Well, since this book is all about having real conversations, let's get to it. Let's get real. Now, you have a massive platform reaching millions of listeners, and you and I have talked about this before. You endorsed Joe Biden back in 2020. But this time around, you say you're not going to endorse anybody. Charlamagne, now is not the time, in my opinion, to sit this one out.
Yeah. Now, you see, she says my opinion because she knows she has to throw that in there. But look at her telling him what to do. This is exactly what I talk about with these black women. Especially, like, look, it's not all, right? But there's enough. There's enough to make us look bad. Like, right? Because at the end of the day, it's mothering him. It's like, this is not the time to do this, Charlamagne, in my opinion, but I'm still scolding you in front of an audience of people who, you know, now it's embarrassing too. It's humiliating. It is, because you don't agree with me 100%.
I didn't say that. I never said I was sitting it out.
What you gonna do?
I'm definitely voting in November, but what I like to focus on is...
What you gonna do? By the way, you gotta listen to the type of talk. What you gonna do? It's us talking right now. What you gonna do? No, man, this isn't the folk. This is not the folk that's sticking together to vote Democrat. No, the folk would stick together to say knowledge is power and gain your knowledge and then make a powerful decision with your vote. That's it.
Issues, not individuals. Like, you know, when
But
you
why
have...
not endorse?
Huh?
Why not endorse Biden?
Because if I'm sitting here telling my listeners that, you know, you have somebody out there who is a threat to democracy, you have somebody out there who said they want to, you know, suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. You saw this person, you know, try to lead an attempted coup of this country. And I'm telling people that this guy is a threat to democracy. Have you ever read Project 25? Mm-hmm. There's only 2 candidates out there. So if I'm saying that about this individual, the choice is clear, right? And I mean,
I think that this is I would say that this is a very like weak excuse. When he said that, it's like he was afraid of her. Look at how she looked at him. You look at the eyes. And then he's like, oh, well, look, because if I'm saying that Trump is bad, then you should know what to do. That's not the argument. Why not endorse? Because I don't feel like it. I don't feel like the Democrats deserve my endorsement. It's one thing to vote, but I don't feel like it. That's it.
Cities, and you did say you wanted these people until you got them. And so then when they realized it was an issue and they were saying don't come, it made the Republicans look like they had it right the whole time. I remember earlier this year, January, I was doing exactly what you just did, Anna. I was talking to my activist friends in Chicago, like my homie Zoe, and she was going to city council meetings every week, complaining about what was happening. And it wasn't even just about the fact that, you know, the migrants were coming over, that she was just complaining that they're getting more resources than we are. I had a guy, he works in a parking garage in New York. He saw me one day and he came to me in tears, talking to me about how, you know, there were gangs that were coming over, you know, tearing up his neighborhood. And he was saying he knows this because the border needs to be closed. This is a black woman I'm talking about and a Spanish man. These people were not MAGA in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. They were just talking to people about what was going on in their communities. In New York City, Mayor Adams let a bunch of migrants stay in a school overnight and made the kids that went to the school do homeschooling that day because he needed to give the migrants housing for the night. People were calling into the radio station complaining about that.
I mean, but there you go. Again, like, there you go. Like, but I'm gonna keep it real with you though. Black people are Johnny come lately to this stuff because again they use those words with you: racism, stick together, march. I remember when Al Sharpton went over to the border about Haitians, talking about, oh, this is the racism of the white supremacy, this, that, and the third, because it looked like there was some whipping going on. It was not. That's not what happened. The images did look pretty bad though. They did look really bad. But anyway. But you can't be walking, crossing in and out the border like that's what was going on. Anyway, whatever. But the point is, Al Sharpton went over there to talk about racism and marching. You see, this is the problem. And so now black people, Johnny come latelys, black people wanted to stay out of the discussion of immigration and say that this discussion of immigration is racist. So then they effectively take the side of the illegal person coming in. How long does it take to get to the point? These marching for no reason, paying attention and not paying attention and just going along with the group does not work. If everybody took accountability for themselves to actually get the information, actually pay attention to stuff, and to see that, hey, maybe the headline is not what they say it is, I think this country would be in a lot better place. This goes across the board. But all I can do, at least in my point, you know, God's blessed me with this platform in a way where I can bring the inconvenient truth. And I think everybody who watches, I thank everybody who watches, because the truth is inconvenient, but it needs to be talked about. And what these other places don't do, and I'm not, you know, coming at the Young Turks or anything, but like especially like mainstream, The View and all of that, no, they just want to get your emotions. You have run the emotions dry of most people. They're tired of hearing about the bad Republican when it comes to things like the border and things like that. We do have reasons to be concerned about Trump's administration. I will keep it 100% with you. But this is not why. This is not why. And that is a deserving of a life. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.